Dear students of CBSE class 10, today we are going to start a new chapter, The Age of Industrialization, chapter 5. This chapter has been divided into different parts. You must watch all the parts in order to understand the chapter thoroughly and try to solve the questions given at the end of the lecture. You subscribe my channel so that I can help you more. Let's start today's topic, The Age of Industrialization, chapter 5. Subtopic, Before the Industrialization. Now, what was the condition before going to start the industrialization? Let's see, before the industrialization, when we talk of industrial production, we refer to factory production. But even when factories were not there in England and Europe, there was large scale of industrial production for an international market. This period it was referred to as the Proto Industrialization by the historians. It is proto means the before. So before industrialization. In the 7th and 8th centuries, merchants from the towns in Europe began moving to the countryside, supplying money to peasants and artisans, and they are persuading them to produce for an international market. With the expansion of world trade and the acquisition of colonies in different parts of the world, the demand for the goods began growing. But merchants could not expand production within towns because of the powerful trade guilds over there. So they turned to the countryside. In the countryside, poor peasants and artisans began working for merchants, and this system helped to develop a close relationship between the town and countryside. A vast number of producers that working with their family farms, not in factories. That was the scenario before the industrial revolution. Okay, so industrial revolution before what was? There was no factory. So our idea industrialization means not in the initial stage factory. Only it was the farm at in a small place. They were working together, a family, all the members of the family. Next, number 2, the subtopic is the coming up of the factory. How this factory come into existence. Now, a series of inventions in the 18th century increased the efficacy of each step of the production process. Within the mill, all the processes were brought together under one roof and management. The earliest factories in England came up by the 1730s, but it was only in the late 18th century that the number of factories multiplied. The first symbol of the new era was cotton. Its production boomed in the late 19th century, and in 1760, Britain was importing 2.5 million pounds of the raw cotton to feed its cotton industry. By 1787, this import soared to 22 million pounds, large-scale development. Now, so this was the factory system and its existence came into being. Next, the pace of industrial change. Subtopic 3. So we are going to discuss about the subtopic, the pace of industrial change. How rapid was the process of industrialization? That is the pace or the scope. Firstly, the most dynamic industries in Britain were clearly cotton and metals, growing at a rapid pace. Cotton was the leading sector in the first phase of the industrialization up to the 1840s. After that, the iron and steel industry led the way. With the expansion of railways in England from the 1840s and in the colonies from the 1860s, the process of industrialization was not very rapid. Some of the reasons were there. Number 1, technological changes occurred slowly. Number 2, new technology was expensive and merchants and industrialists were cautious about the using of these machines, and the machines were not as effective as the inventors claimed. So as a result, the pace of the industrial change was not rapid. It was gradually improving. Now, next topic is hand labor and steam power. So we can say traditional labor and the factory labor. These two, what are the distinguish or the difference and the use in that development? Now, abundant labors were available at the low wages, so the industrialists did not want to introduce machines. In several industries, the demand for labor was seasonal. and industrialists preferred hand labor, employing workers for the season. A range of products could be produced only with hand labor. Machines were oriented to produce uniform, standardized goods for export in the colonies. So especially hand labor, they were using more. Now next is the last subtopic today, life of the workers. How was the life of the workers during this initial stage of the industrialization? Let's see. The abundance of labor in the market affected the lives of workers. As news of possible jobs traveled to the countryside, hundreds came to the cities. The actual possibility of getting a job depends on existing networks of friendship and kin relations. Many job seekers had to wait weeks, spending nights under bridge or in night shelters. Some stayed in the night refuges that were set up by private individuals. Others were to the casual wards maintained by the poor law authorities. And the condition of working places was horrible. Workers were prone to epidemic diseases due to the unhygienic working conditions. The uncertainty of jobs made workers hostile to the introduction of spinning jenny in woolen industry. Women who survived on hand spinning started attacking the new machines, and the conflict continued for a long time. Today's lecture is over. So from this lecture or the discussion, what type of question, what are the important question or probable question from this topic? Listen attentively. Number one, what do you mean by Proto Industrialization? Number one question. Number two, how did a series of inventions in the 18th century increase the efficiency of each step of the production process in cotton industry? Explain. Number three, why did technological changes occur slowly in Britain in early 19th century? Explain any three reasons. Number four, describe the process of gradual growth of factories in England in the light of the problems it faced. Number five, explain the process of industrialization in Britain during the 19th century. And the last question, number six, how did cotton factories become an intimate part of the English landscape in the early 19th century? These are the important questions. You listen my lecture properly and you try to write down this answer to solve the answers. Then you'll be able to understand properly. And the next video, the remaining question will be discussed. So you see the next video also. Thanks a lot to watch till the end. Your valuable comment is highly appreciable. Thank you.